Hi, welcome back to my channel, Open the Door. This is episode 13, 2.0. So the last episode I told you was episode 13, which on my list of ideas for episodes, it is. But somehow I skipped episode 12. So you're going to get episode 13.20 today. Anyway, so as you saw, the title of the video is Unlocking How to Move Through Fear. And this really does piggyback with episode 13, the episode that I just recorded recently about feeling blocked and how to move past that. So this one's about fear and how to work through our fears. It's closely related. So what are you so afraid of? Well, we all have fears. We all are afraid of something. And fear is a natural part of our life, but it shouldn't override our actions, and it doesn't need to dictate how we move through our day if we know how to deal with the fear. So each person's journey with fear is different and just as unique as each one of us. And moving through fear, as a lot of these things that are in the healing journey, they do take time. So, being patient with yourself and using some of these tools that I'm going to talk about today hopefully will help you. So fear is a protective mechanism, and you've probably heard that the fear triggers several responses with flight or fight. We're most familiar with it. There is another called freeze response, which is it's not flight and it's not fight. It's literally freezing in place. So fear is a complex interplay of several factors, including psychological, physiological, and environmental factors, and of course, based on our past experiences as well. So there's another word associated with fear, which is phobia, and I just want to talk briefly about how fear and phobias are different. So phobias are irrational fears that are triggered by an activity or an event, a situation, or an object. And here's a few you may have heard of. It's pretty common phobias. Xenophobia, which is the fear of strangers and or foreigners. Claustrophobia, the fear of confined spaces. Agoraphobia, fear of places that might cause a feeling of helplessness. It could be open or closed spaces. That's agoraphobia. And here's one I had not heard of before. Chronophobia, which is the fear of passage of time. It's interesting. But these fears we're all aware of, and you probably have several of these in your fear tool bag. Fear of failure, these are the most common fears. So fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of speaking in public, fear of heights, fear of flying, fear of snakes and spiders, fear of the dark, and a very common fear for all of us is a fear of change. And that's natural and normal to feel a fear of change. Well, fear can block us from moving forward for a variety of reasons. And one of those biggest reasons would be the comfort zone. We're resistant to change, and we feel comfortable and safe in the situation that we're in, even though we may need to make some changes. The fear is going to block us because we're so set in our comfort zone. Another block that fear presents is negative anticipation. So expecting the worst case scenario instead of being hopeful and hoping for the best possible outcome. Worst case scenario, negative anticipation. Past traumas can linger and prevent forward movement, causing fear. Self-doubt, when we question our abilities and we lack confidence in our decision making, can block us with fear. Social expectations, what others think, or the fear of not fitting in. Perfectionism and or low self-esteem, so wanting all our ducks in a row perfectly before we move out of the fear, or having such low self-esteem that we're just paralyzed by fear and not able to move forward, not feeling confident. Lacking information can cause fear for folks, and it's usually based around being ill-informed and or not doing your own research and basing your judgments and decisions on secondhand knowledge instead of taking the time to try to find out more detailed information about whatever the situation is that's causing you the fear. And conditioning through family and or our culture can also cause fear to block us for a variety of reasons. So how do we move through fear? Well, it involves several steps. The first step would be to acknowledge the fear, acknowledge that it's present, be honest with yourself and realistic that you are feeling a sense of fear over a certain situation. So acknowledging the fear and then understanding the source, looking a little deeper at the fear and where does it originate from. Here's a personal example. I'm not so much anymore, but for most of my life I've been afraid of bees. And the reason for that is because as a young girl playing in the backyard with my brothers, I witnessed my oldest brother while he was playing with the beehive and hit it with a stick, and the bees came out and swarmed him and attacked him, and I saw him get stung numerous times and had to run in the house to get my mom or dad to come help. But after witnessing that event and how much pain he was in, I've been afraid of bees for most of my life, but I've learned to stay calm when they fly around me and not scream and run away. So there's a little story about me. Let's see. Other things that can help us move through fear would be gradually working in small, manageable steps, taking small actions toward overcoming that fear, focusing on positive outcomes, expecting good things to happen instead of focusing on the negative, and reviewing our past successes. So back to the bee example, I realized that not every bee wants to sting me. And if I just remain calm and let it do its thing, and I've only been stung once, and that was 2 summers ago, and I'm up there in years, so they haven't all attacked me. So anyway, so the next steps after you acknowledge the fear, you're understanding the source of it, you're working in small steps to work through and past that fear. What can you do next? Well, here's some techniques and suggestions for you to take your next steps toward moving through the fear. So practice relaxation techniques. I'm a big proponent, for those of you who are regular watchers of my channel know that I'm a big proponent of being mindful and using meditation and relaxation techniques to help us work through some things. So practicing relaxation techniques can help you move through your fear too. Educating yourself and seeking support can make a big difference. The more you know, right? So delve into more information on this fear that you've got. Using positive visualization for outcomes, that goes along with expecting positive outcomes. So instead of visualizing worst case scenario, we're going to flip that and imagine and visualize what the positive outcome would be. Let's say you have fear of heights, and you're going to New York City, and you know that the people that you're traveling with want to take the elevator to the top of the Empire State Building. So imagine yourself not just riding the elevator and feeling that sense of fear, but what happens when you get to the top? And imagine the view. Imagine the safety and security you feel by the solid ground underneath you, the cement platform that you'd probably be standing on, and all the fencing that's keeping you safe. And that's just an example of how you can use positive visualization to help you work through your fear. Challenge negative thoughts when they come up. When you're starting to experience the emotional response of fear, notice where your thoughts are, and notice where your thoughts are taking you, and grab a hold of those thoughts and rein them in. We don't need to let our thoughts control our patterns and behaviors, but the mind is always wants to be busy, and the mind is always wanting to interject thoughts and scenarios into our thought patterns that may not be always beneficial. So if we can sort of stop that hamster wheel of worry and fear, stop it in its tracks, take a little deeper look at where, challenge the negative thoughts and where are they coming from and how can you flip it, put a positive spin on it. celebrating your progress. You made it to the top of the Empire State Building, and you didn't die. And you actually enjoyed it and had a great time. So celebrate that fact. Anyway, so here's some relaxation, self-reflection techniques. I misspoke. To address your fear. One of them is journaling. I'm a big proponent of journaling. So writing down your fears and your associated thoughts, and explore the root causes and the patterns of what's associated with that fear. And looking at, as I mentioned earlier, reflecting on how your fears may have originated. For me, it was bees. Another self-reflection technique would be, you knew I couldn't get through a whole video without saying it, mindfulness and meditation. So paying attention to when fears arise and observing your thoughts without judgment. What thoughts are you having related to these fears, and how can you change that? Past experiences, reflecting and reviewing when your past fear influenced the decision that you made, and was the fear rational, and how did you handle it? Reflecting on your values and goals, and if your fears align with your personal growth, or are they hindering? Are they standing in the way of forward movement, of, as I said, personal growth and advancement? Self-compassion is another self-reflection technique you can use, where you're using positive self-talk and supportive instead of being critical. So the self-compassion that we have and we use helps create a positive mindset to help navigate through your fears. So a few episodes ago I talked about a mantra that one of the mantras that I have that I still say, I am brave, I am strong, and I have courage, and that one has served me well. As I mentioned in the other video, when I was talking about when I first started saying that mantra, and I didn't believe it when I first started saying it, but I use that regularly, especially when I'm feeling anxious and going into a new situation and not sure, what might happen, how is it going to turn out. I use that, I am brave, I am strong, and I have courage. Limiting beliefs that you may carry, are they contributing to your fear? Challenge and question the validity of your belief systems. They may have changed as you've adapted and changed over the years, and you want to explore alternatives to those beliefs if you find that they're not in line with forward progress. And most of all, are they standing in the way? Are they contributing to your level of fear in some way? I'm going to move on to the next. I thought of a personal example, but I'm choosing not to go there. The next self-reflection technique would be not just reflecting yourself, but getting feedback from others, trusting friends and mentors, getting new perspective and valuable insights they may have to help you work through your fear. And this is a really, really great tool. So write down a fear inventory. Create a list of all your fears, and then prioritize them, categorize them based on the impact that they're having in your life. Which ones are the most limiting, and which ones seem, minor to you, that are not really limiting your forward movement. It's just a fear that you have. A fear of spiders, maybe. Explore strategies to address your different fears, and break it down into small steps of how you may begin to overcome that fear. It's always a good idea to seek professional support when you find that you're unable to handle a thought, emotion, a behavior pattern on your own. So do seek professional support through guidance with a therapist or counselor who can provide a neutral perspective and help you navigate the deep emotional layers that may be associated with that fear. So it could be something pretty deep-seated, and you need some help to work through that. The results of moving through your fear. Well, positive growth. It brings about resilience and expanding our comfort zone, feelings of self-worth, and feelings of success, which can bring about the increased confidence that we all appreciate, and a belief in your ability to handle challenges by working through your fear. I've said this as well in past videos, that it's normal to feel the fear. Bravery comes in when you push past that fear. So eliminating fear is not really the object. The objective here is to take a deeper look at it realistically, and then creating little small steps to work through that fear. But another positive result of moving through your fear would be expanding your opportunities, and finding that there's new possibilities out there in the world just waiting for you on the other side of that fear. Your social circle and your network grows, and it can be quite enriching to see your opportunities expand as you push through that fear. Emotional resilience is another positive result of moving through fear, and helping us to acquire better coping skills. Improved mental health, less stress, a greater sense of well-being is another positive result of moving through fear. Enhanced problem solving, realizing that we are able to create strategies and a plan, again broken down into small steps, to help us become an overall better problem solver in particular, and with coping skills. So stronger relationships are created by moving through our fear. We're not letting our fear stop us from interacting with others, or addressing aspects of certain relationships that might need addressing. A sense of empowerment, increased self-awareness, and a deep feeling of satisfaction in life when we move through and past our fear, and are able to experience all these wonderful positive results by being able to do that. So this is my little lesson for today on moving through fear. And if you haven't watched my last video, episode 13, please do that, because that really does goes along with this episode, moving through fear, and feeling stuck, and how to move through that. So I thank you for joining me today. I've got another episode ready to go, and I'll be releasing this one in the next 24 hours and have another one up and ready for you right after that. So I hope you're doing well. Thank you for joining me, and I'll see you again next time.